Okay, so we're going to go over how to kind of expand these logs, log base 2 of 9, based on log base 2 of 3, 2 of 5, and 2 of 7. Now, the way I want you to think about this is like, it's kind of a number game. You're saying like, hey, how do I make a 9 from 3, 5, and 7? How would I make a 9 from 3, 5, and 7? And then you're going to use these rules to expand it, right? So just so that you know, this rule should have had a division symbol right here. I don't know what happened. Maybe it got cut off. Not sure. So there's my little division symbol right there. So here they are. Make sure this is somewhere where you have access to it on a Post-it or something so that you can keep accessing it over and over again. Okay, so log base 2 of 9. How can I rewrite 9 in terms of 3, 5, and 7? How can I rewrite 9 in terms of 3, 5, and 7? I don't think that there's one answer. There's actually more than one answer. What do you guys got? Oh, 3 times 3. Very good. There's another way to do it too, right? That's not the only way. Can someone think of another way to do that? And because you all said 3 times 3, I'm going to show you both ways. Yeah, 3 squared. Exactly. That's what I was thinking too. Okay. So the reason why I'm going to show you both ways is because I think you guys are comfortable with the product rule. And because the power rule is relatively new to you, you're like, oh, I don't like it. So let me do the power rule first. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to say log base 2 of 3 squared. Now, look, the only thing that I changed out was instead of writing 9, I wrote a 3 squared instead, right? Let me make this a tad bigger. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is like, oh, I can use the power rule. So I'm like, oh, the power rule. Oh, and then it goes out in front. Okay, so you want me to put that 2, Miss Johnson, in the front? Like this. So 2 times log base 2 of 3. Yeah. And then I'm going to go grab what log base 2 of 3 is. According to this, it's 1.585. And so I'm just going to write this as 2 times 1.585. Now, I don't expect you to know that off the top of your head, so I'm going to multiply it over here in my calculator. So I say 2 times 1.585, that is 3.17. Okay, so my answer is 3.17. Now notice here, I'm going to make a big deal about this just so that everybody sees this. These equal signs are reserved for exact answer. I'm going to say that again. These equal signs are only reserved for exact answers. So Ms. Johnson, 1.585 is an approximate. Yeah, it's an approximate. So technically this should be like those little, it looks like an equal sign with a perm, right? So sorry, this 2 went away. So here I'm going to put these approximate symbols. Looks like this. Ms. Johnson, if I don't put that on a test, is it going to be wrong? No, it's not. I just need to be very like clear with you and precise so that you're comfortable when you see these things, okay? So this is one way to do it. The alternative way to do it was you guys all said 3 times 3. So I'm going to go log base 2 of 3 times 3. Well, according to this, the product rule says if it's multiplication in the log, then it's addition outside. Okay, so you want me to put log base 2 of 3 plus log base 2 of 3? Yeah. And then if you notice, log base 2, and there's several things that you could do here, right? And so as soon as my iPad catches up, so you could either add these 2 log base 2 of 3s together, and then it pushes you over here to 2 log base 2 of 3s, or you can substitute right now for 1.585 plus 1.585, which would still give you the same answer. So here, I'm going to just draw a little line to put me right here, because then you would be like, oh, and then I could just continue. And the answer is yes. Okay. So any questions on this part right here? Okay, so now let's try again. If I'm trying to grab a 10, build a 10, and these are the only people I can use, how do I build a 10? How am I going to build a 10? How can I build a 10 from 3 5 and 7. Very good. So someone says, Miss Johnson, you can go 2 times 5. And then someone's like, wait, Miss Johnson, I thought you can only use these numbers here. Kind of, but you can always use the powers of 2. Hint, hint. You can always use the powers of 2. So I'm going to go with log base 2 of 2 times 5. So wait, Miss Johnson, I could always use the powers of the base. Yeah, that makes it super like doable, right? Like think back, this is what the I think it was Abe or whoever that was in the previous slides, right? So now that I did this, then I can turn it into one of these, and then I could use these guys here, right? So, okay, so then I go log base 2 of 2 plus log base 2 of 5. Exactly, right? And I like doing this. I like going, hey, and log base 2 of 2 is just the number 1. You guys all know that log base 2 of 2 is just the number 1, right? So then I just add my answer. So I'm going to go with a different color. Sorry. Is equal to 1 plus, and then log base 2 of 5. Oh, it's 2.322, Miss Johnson. Yep. And so this is approximately, right, 3.322. So this should have been approximately 2, right? Miss Johnson, I was kind of stuck with this log base 2 of 2 because I thought you said only use base 5. Yeah, I kind of stuck you in that corner on purpose. So now that you know that, you can use any power of 2. Any power of 2, Miss Johnson? Yes, any power of 2. Any power, any power. Everyone okay with this so far? Okay, good. Now let's build some more. What about 12? What about 12? How would you build 12 from 3, 5, and 7? How would you build a 12 from 3, 5, and 7? So someone said 6 times 2, which I like, right? So I'm going to go with 6 times 2. Even though someone else in the chat just put 3 times 4, and 3 times 4 for me is a little bit better, and you'll see why. When I get to log base 2 of 6 times 2, which I like the 2 right there, right? What I don't like is I don't like the 6. So now I'm going to rebuild using the 6. So how can I write 6 using these guys? How can I write 6 using these guys? Not 3 plus 3, a different way to write it. Yeah, 3 times 2, very good. So here I'm going to go with a log base 2 of 3 times 2 times 2. Miss Johnson, there's 3 bases in your argument. Can you do that? Well, kind of. Like you can guess what's going to happen right here, right? Right. So yeah, very, very good. Okay, can you write out that next line according to what I wrote, not what you wrote? What would I write next? What would I write next? Very good. So I see you in the chat. Very good. Get your answers in there. Get your answers, the wrong stuff out right now. That's your biggest goal. Whenever you're answering, this is your time to just get it out and wrong so that it's not wrong during a test. All right, so what would I write? What would I write here? What's the next step? What's that next step? Okay, so my next step goes like this. It's log base 2 of what? Log base 2 of what? Oh, no. I don't want to go backwards. I don't want to go back to 12, right? Going back to 12 is like going this way. Like, I don't want to go away from the thing, right? Get those wrong answers out now. So can you imagine if I put log base 2 of 12? Do you see all this work that I did? I'm now back here. Wait, I'm back at the starting line? Yeah, I'm back at the start. I don't want to go back to the starting line. So here, I'm going to put log base 2 of 3 plus, hint, hint. What comes next? What comes next? Yeah, and then here I have some choice, right? Some people in the chat put, hey, Ms. Johnson, you could do log base 2 of 4, you could do log base 2 of 2. It doesn't really matter, right? So because I wrote this, then I would write this. Do you see how I'm like walking through here? Right? Do you see how I'm walking through here? So my point is someone said, oh, it's better to do this than that. Yeah, but if this is where you start, are you just going to throw this away because you started wrong? No, your answers, right or wrong, will always help you get to the answers if you figure out what you're doing wrong, right? Okay, so log base 2 of 3 plus log base 2 of 2 plus log base 2 of 2, and you're like, boom, Ms. Johnson, I know exactly what log base 2 of 2 is. It's 1. It's 1. And I know what log base 2 of 3 is. It's the number up here, so 1.585. So we get oops, go backwards. So this is approximately 1.585 plus 1 for a total answer of 3.585. Okay, so for those of you who are like, oh, Ms. Johnson, three times 4 would be better. Good. Practice that on your own. Okay, what you don't want to do is just because you start with something, you don't want to throw it away. Like I see my students doing that all the time. Oh, I made a mistake. Let me erase all this. It's like, no, just keep moving, right? All right. So these 3 were based on the product rule. So I now want to move towards over here to this, the quotient rule. So the quotient rule just says when I have a quotient, I can use subtraction. So let me do that really quick. So here it's, I don't even have to do anything because look, it's 7 and 3. How do you get 7 and 3 from 3, 5, and 7? Oh, I'm just going to divide, right? So tell me what to write next. Tell me what to write next. According to this rule right here, what would I write next? What would I write next? Yeah, good job. All right, look, I love when you guys do this because then I could just snip it. Even though it looks wrong, because guess what? You guys, there's no subscript in Zoom chat, right? So I'm just going to snip this. We all understand what this person is saying. Really good job here. I'm just going to put it off to the side so you guys can say, oh, that's how she wants us to put it. Yeah, I mean, that's the best we could do, right? In Zoom chat. So yeah, I'm going to put log base 2 of 7 minus log base 2 of 3. And then I'm gonna, put these guys in here. So what is that? 7 and 3. So that's 2.807 minus 1.585. So that's I forgot the numbers, 807 minus 1.585. And whatever that is. So I'm going to leave that to you guys there. Okay. So any questions on this? This one was very straightforward in my little brain. You guys all good on this one? So go ahead and put the answer here, whatever that answer is. What about this one? I need to build a 30 divided by 7. Now 7, that's straightforward. I see it. But how do I get a 30? How do I get a 30 from 3, 5, and 7? How do I get a 30 from 3, 5, and 7? Yeah, 5 times 6. Very good. So someone says, hey, Ms. Johnson, I could get 30 from 5 times 6. And if you break 6 down even further, that's why this person chose 5 times 6, right? So I'm going to rewrite this to log base 2 of, and so that reminds me, I already know how to break down 6, right? Look, 6 is right here. So the fact that this person here did it 6 times 2, it actually helped them down here. You see how that works? Okay, so 5 times 6 over 7. Can you pause the video right now and figure out how to write this long sentence right here? I'm gonna pause this real quick. Okay, so you guys should be able to write this. I peeked over here and I saw some really good work. This person has it almost down, but look, there's a mistake somewhere here, right? And I paused this person probably corrected it, but I paused it. So, I mean, I grabbed it so that this person probably already corrected it. But do you see how it's supposed to be a 5? I mean, a plus, sorry, I was reading that 5. It's supposed to be a plus. Ms. Johnson, why is it supposed to be a plus? Because minus means that you're dividing, right? So if it's on top, that means it needs to be a plus. So whoever you are, Emmy, Nother, this is all anonymized anyway, just go back and make it a plus. I'm so glad that you made this mistake here, because if you made that mistake here, that means you're probably not going to make that mistake on our test. So let me write this out for you. It's log, let me use a different color, log base 2 of 5 plus log base 2 of 6 plus, not plus, minus log base 2 of 7. Very good, right? Okay, so with that all being said, the 5 I can grab from here. The 7 I can grab from here. And then 6, we already kind of found it right in here. See the log base 2 of 3 times 2? I can almost like ignore this extra log base 2. So because we already found that, we know what it is over here, right? It's 2.585. Does that make sense? Is that too quick? Does anybody need explanation on that? So I'm saying because I already figured out log base 2 of 12, I can kind of figure out log base 2 of 6 from my work right here. So this is log base 2 of 6. So this right here is log base 2 of 6. Okay. And I would like you to catch up, please. Okay, there it goes. So I'm going to use this part right here, right? I'm going to use that part right here, which is just this part right here. So just so that you guys know, I'm grabbing all this work right here because I already did it. I don't need to redo it, right? Okay, so that means log base 2 of 5 is 2.32. Log base 2 of 6 is 2.585. Plus, not plus, minus. Minus log base 2 of 7, which is 2.807, which again, my handy dandy calculator is going to help me so I don't have to think about this. I don't worry about I think you guys are good on decimal calculations. Minus 2.807. That's my answer, 2.1. Okay, questions on this one. Questions on this one, because I kind of used up my little trick there. So someone said, wait, I multiplied 5 and 6 and it was the same answer. Can you explain why that isn't the case? 2. Yeah, that's right. I did the same thing. Here's my 5 times 6. So here's my rule being applied. That's the product rule right there, right? So you have log base 2 of 5 times 6 divided by 7. Right? So you just stretched this part out. You left it, this has 5 times 6 here, right? As long as you can argue what, because we know what these two things are doing, I'm fine with that. So someone said, hey, Ms. Johnson, I wrote this all as log base 2 of 30. And I did this kind of work off to the side. Is that okay? Yeah, as long as you understand, as long as you show me what 5 times 6 and 7, this part here, then we're fine. Or this part, how you have it in the chat is fine. So someone said, here, I'm going to show you guys because you guys are not seeing what I'm seeing. Someone said, is this okay? Can I do it like this, Ms. Johnson? And the answer is yes, absolutely, because I see your work. They said, hey, Ms. Johnson, can I do it like this? And the answer is yeah. Do you see it? Log base 2, pretend this is a sub 2, right? Log base 2 of 5 times 6. Here's my 5 times 6. And then she pulls out that division, that quotient rule already. So yeah, that's fine. Okay, now 486, I don't know about you. I don't know it off the top of my head. So I'm going to start playing with that number. I'll show you how I play with this number in terms of 3, 5, and 7. So I'm going to take 486. I'm going to divide it by 7. That didn't work. So I'm going to go with 486 divided by 3. Oh, that's 162. Okay. So let me write that down. So this is 3 times 162. Let me divide by 3 again. Let's see what we get. Ooh, we get 54. So this is 3 times 54. And I know what 54 is, right? Just follow me down there. 9 times 6, right? So, so I get a bunch of stuff. Okay, so this is how I played with 486, and I got all of these things. So I got 3 times 3 times 9 times 6. So I'm going to write that out. I'm going to say log base 2 of 3 times 3 times 9 times 6. Okay, if you've been paying attention with me, right? Have we figured out log base 2 of 3? And you're like, yeah, Ms. Johnson, they gave it to us. Okay, good. Have you figured out log base 2 of 3? And you're like, Ms. Johnson, you just asked that. Okay, just making sure. Have you figured out log base 2 of 9? And you're like, yeah, that was the first one we did, Ms. Johnson. It's 3.17. And did you figure out log base 2 of 6? And we actually did, right? It's right here. So I don't really need to do anything else. Exactly. Does that make sense? So I used 486 and I kind of factored it out to do this. Ms. Johnson, can I do log base 2 of 9 times log base, log base 2 of 9 times 9 times 6? Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, so let's write this answer out. So I get approximately log base 2 of 3, I think is 1.585 plus 1.585 plus, now log base 2 of 9, I'm grabbing from right here. It's that 3.17. I'll write it in the same color so you can like reference that later because it's right here. And my log base 2 of 6 is this guy right here, which is this guy right here, which is 2.585. Let's see. Let me write that in that pink color. 2.585. Very good. Okay, so then all of that together, whatever that equals to, that's what log base 2 of 486 is. Okay. That makes sense.